Hi there, and welcome to Kiddie Korner Media. On this episode, we're tackling a difficult subject, a conversation that is always uncomfortable to have for a lot of people, but is necessary. Today, we're going to be talking about race, skin color, and racism, and about the first time you actually discuss it with your children. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, that's not until they're older and stuff like that. But actually, the book I have today, Our Skin, The First Conversation About Racism, by Megan Madison, Jessica Ralli, and Isabel Roxas, is actually made for younger kids. Okay? Now, before anybody thinks it's too young, here are a few facts to remember. 1. By the age of 6 months, babies can already distinguish between skin tones and recognize features from different people. By 2 to 3, children are using labels for skin tones, for skin colors, and are expressing their curiosity about these differences. And then by age 5, they start to internalize the social messages they see about race, indicating sometimes an early bias or stereotype might start developing in their head based on just what they're seeing out in the world. So having a conversation, as uncomfortable as it might be, is extremely important. This is important to not let misinformation go by, and for us to also re-examine our own thoughts and feelings about it. So this is a lovely book to get you started. There's only one part that I might do a little differently, but still, I find this is a good choice. It starts off with just giving a few basic things. We all have skin tones. It's all different. It's caused by melanin, and they say it in relaxed, easy phrasing that still does not talk down to the kids, which I really admire about that. And then they throw in a question. What's your skin tone? What's your family look like? Just to get the kids to start thinking and relaxing and being much more comfortable with the conversation. From there, they start talking about racism. And there's this one lovely part that I'd like to read to you. Skin color can't tell you much about what people are like, what they know, what foods they think are yummy, what their favorite books are, or even where they were born. Just by looking at someone, we can't tell who they are on the inside, but sometimes people try to anyways. From there, they talk about the institution of racism in a very brief but straightforward manner. And the one part here that I might personally disagree with is that they do focus on the Caucasian community, while there are a lot of instances throughout history where Caucasians, especially like with slavery, were in charge and perpetuating the system of racism. We should also remember, though, that racism can happen in other cultures as well. It's not just one culture, it can be everywhere. So that's just my little side put. But it goes into the out and out, in your face kind of racism, the smaller microaggressions, those that are done on purpose and those that are even done by mistake. It can happen. We all have a bias somewhere back there, as much as we try not to admit it or try not to believe it and work through it. They're there. But as long as we're working through it and having these conversations, things can get better. And that's what is also the point of this book too. There are ways to make things go better. And as I said before, microaggressions can be done by mistake. I know personally I've experienced many of those throughout being a Puerto Rican woman. When I would tell people about my background, my heritage, the phrase I got a lot was, well, you don't act like it. Now, to some people, they probably thought they were complimenting me, but it isn't a compliment. It made me feel very bad, like saying, but you're telling me that I'm not a part of who I am. Another example is when people would say something like, oh, well, I don't see color. And that comes from a good place. I understand that. And this is where maybe someone's making it by mistake, a microaggression. It is come from a good place. But if you don't see my heritage, my background, which is a deep part of who I am, then you're not seeing me. You're not seeing the person that I am. Because that is a big part. It's an important part. It's something I'm proud of. So there are small examples like that all around the world. I was even told once not to give my child a name that sounded Spanish because they might come out looking white. That was a bit more than a microaggression. But it happens. Even from the best intentioned people, even from people who don't have the best intentions. But once our kids start seeing and hearing these things, it is time to start calling it out. It is time to have the conversation so that they don't fall into any traps or make the same mistakes that we do. And they say that at the end of it, it can get better through conversations, through protests. There are people working towards racial justice every day, and that's something to be proud of. And it's to be proud of if we talk about it with our kids. Make them stronger, help them see the world for what it is, but also for how we can make it better. Maybe I'm being a little optimistic or naive, but I think it's possible. I think it's possible if we have these conversations that good things can come out of it. So, as I said, the book is called Our Skin, First Conversations About Race by Megan Madison, Jessica Ralli, and Isabel Roxas. It's a lovely book, and I hope you have a chance to pick it up and start your conversation today. It won't be easy, but it might be worth it in the end. Thanks. Have a good one. Pass on that positivity. Bye.